Hi students. Yesterday we started our lesson, which was a rather interesting topic. We started Unit 6 with the gender divide, which was talking about the differences between genders in general. Yes, okay, so we have here, let's just start quickly with what we have. We have the part which is the vocabulary quick check. Now we have these words: anxiety, gender, repetitive, stereotype, temperament, capacity, intensity, restless, and tedious. Now on page number 83 here, we have these are the blanks and the sentences. So I would just like to underline the keywords that can help you within the sentences. So the first one, let's just start with the first one here. Okay, now the blank, that blonde-haired people are not smart is ridiculous. So we have here the word ridiculous can help you actually with the meaning here. So there is a kind of idea. Which word did we say that it was related with a kind of idea, an image that is taken? And here we can see that the blank is, we have here, stereotype. The second one, we were bored and blank, so we decided to find something to do. So yes, we have here the word bored, but we also didn't feel very relaxed, so we can say that the word here is restless. This is the suitable choice. Then we have that film is very blank. It shows the same place over and over again. So do you remember yesterday when we gave this symbol and we said that something is just repeating all the time? And here, of course, we have here the word repetitive. I always feel overwhelming blank the night before a test. So here there is a test, and sometimes when you do have a test or something very important, you will feel a little bit worried, or we can say here anxiety. Number 5, the blank of the thunderstorm made the animals nervous. So we have here the thunderstorm made the animals nervous. So there is a word that we can associate with the word thunderstorm, which is here the intensity. And then we have here number 6, some people believe that animals have the blank to feel the same emotions that humans do. So do you agree that animals have the same, we can say here, capacity? So within themselves, do they feel the same thing as humans or not? Lucia has a lovely blank. She's always happy and smiling. So relating to happy and smiling here, that she has a good nature, she has a good personality, and here we can say that she has a lovely temperament. Then we have a number 8. Finding sources for an essay can be a time-consuming and blank task. So sometimes when you are looking for something for a project, for an essay, it can be a little bit boring, it can take time, and we can say that here it is tedious. And we have in number 9, the blank of an animal often has a specific name. For example, a male horse is a stallion and a female horse is a mare. And from the word male and female, we have the last word, which is the word gender. Yes, now before we move on, just to note here, now some students, they may have put in number 2, we were bored and tedious, so we decided to find, it may, okay, so it may come, but here, when you come to number 8, finding sources for an essay can be time-consuming. We cannot add restless. So when you come to the end and you just try to check your answers, you would find that some answers, they cannot be accepted in other places. So that's what makes us just rearrange the words. Yes, okay, so we have here, this is going to be the first exercise. And then we have the second one, which is comprehension questions. Answer the questions. Now, actually, the answers, they are very easy. We passed by them yesterday. So very quickly here, we have the first one. In what types of settings do women tend to speak more? Do you remember yesterday when we talked about men and women? And we had the true or false activity that said that women, they may talk more than men. And then that turned out to be false because they are equal. but men sometimes they talk more in formal situations or formal settings, and we have here women, they tend to speak more in informal settings. This is the first. The second one, what causes women to worry more than men? We said that there's something biological here. It's something related to the body, which means that we have here women's brains produce less of a chemical that controls an anxiety than men's brains do. After that, we have a number 3. What things do women tend to lie about? What things do men tend to lie about? And we said, of course, this is not something that everybody does. It's not something that we're not saying that all men and women lie. But one of the reasons for people who do lie, we can say that women, they lie or tend to lie to avoid hurting another's feelings. And men, they sometimes tend to lie to make themselves look more impressive. Number 4, what might explain women's ability to deal with repetitive tasks better than men? So we said that women have more patience than men when they are doing tasks, and the reason behind that is it is possible that women are better at keeping their thoughts and imaginations active. Coming to the last question here, which gender has the longer life expectancy? Give an example. So we said that some gender is expected to live more than the other, and there is an example which is mentioned, one country. So we have here, women have a longer life expectancy than men. In the US, the life expectancy for women is 79, but for men it is 72. So our example is in the USA. Now, I hope that you checked your answers and your answers are correct. So please here, we have, don't forget to correct your answers if you think that something is wrong. Now, coming to these 2 sentences here, we have, take another look. Don't forget to correct your answers. And in another part here, we have, don't forget correcting your answers. So take a look again. Don't forget to correct your answers, and don't forget correcting your answers. Do you think that there is a difference in the meaning? Now, the first one, don't forget to correct your answers. I'm reminding you to do something. But the second one, don't forget correcting your answers. This can apply another meaning, which is a little bit different. I'll give you another example. We have here. So we have here to correct and correcting. The other example, observe it from the book. Now, a brain chemical called COMT, which controls anxiety, is produced less in a woman's brain. Having less of this chemical can make it harder for a person to stop worrying. We have the last part here, which is stop worrying. Now, if you are worrying about something, I can say stop worrying. And there is another one, another structure, which says stop to worry. This is clearer than the one before. Stop worrying, stop to worry. It shows that there is a difference in meaning. So actually, it's the same thing here. If you go back and see that we have here to correct, there is to, and we have here correct is the verb. And the other one, correct, yes, also is the verb, but instead of to, we have ing added to the verb. And note that both of them, they have forget and forget here, which is also another verb. Going back to the other example, we have here stop worrying. We have here the ing. And the second one, stop to worry, also I have to here in the sentence. And like forget, I have stop is also a verb. So this is actually what we have here in our lesson today. We have here the grammar lesson that we are going to talk about. It includes 2 parts, which is the infinitive and the gerund. So we are going to highlight and just concentrate on these 2 parts. We have here the infinitive and the gerund. They are going to be our grammar lesson for the day. So our objectives in the lesson are going to be, number 1, to deduct the grammar rules from sentences. So now that you know that there is an ing included, there is to, we have two verbs in the sentence. Number 2, differentiate between infinitives and gerunds. We will get to that. Number 3, apply the correct grammar form with the verbs forget and stop, which we mentioned. We have also regret, we have try, and we have remember. So these are 5 verbs that we are specifically talking about. In sentences, depending on meaning, use the passive form of the structures. So there's something including passive. And the last part is going to be to use the auxiliary verbs to shorten the sentence or sentences. Now, going back here to the verb, we can say that the verb can be divided into 2. Either you have here gerund or the infinitive, which we mentioned before. Now, there's a small example here. You can see that we have here running is fun. Now, when I say running is fun, this is different from saying, for example, Ali is running. So Ali is running. We are showing that there is an action. Ali is the subject, is running. We have here, it's a verb. But when I say running is fun, I am talking about something that is enjoyable, it is fun. So here, running actually, it is not a verb, it is going to be a noun in the sentence. So we have here the verb, it can be either the gerund, which means that we add ing to the form of the verb that functions the same as a noun. We have here our example, and we say that we have here in this sentence, running is the gerund, it acts like, just like a noun. The second part we have here, the infinitive. The infinitive is formed from a verb, but it doesn't act as a verb. It can act as a noun, an adjective, an adverb, and we have here another example, I love to swim. So one of the things that I enjoy doing is swimming. I'm not saying, for example, he is swimming. This is a verb. I'm saying that I love to swim, which makes to swim together as a noun, or it can be as an adjective or an adverb in the sentence. Now, just to remind you, from the very start of the semester, maybe even before we started with Unit 1, we mentioned that it is very important to focus on 2 parts in the grammar point. You have to focus on the structure part and also in the meaning part. So now we are dealing with the structure. We know that we have here in one sentence we are going to add ing to the verb, and in another sentence we have to add to, but without the ing. The verb is the same, but we change what we add to it, and we're going to see now what is the meaning. Why am I changing this? So basically, put in mind that either it is a gerund or an infinitive with to. We are dealing with nouns, not as verbs. Yes? Now we have here the different meaning part that we just discussed. And just to remind you that I'm talking about 5 verbs in the sentence here. We have your remember, forget that we mentioned, try, regret, and stop. So here, these 5 verbs that are mentioned, you can see that they are all abstract. You cannot see someone doing these verbs. And with them, I can add either the infinitive or the gerund. Okay, coming to our examples. The first one. He always remembers to send his grandparents a gift on special holidays. And the second one, he remembers sending gifts last year. So just to focus on the difference in the meaning, the first one, he always remembers to send his parents a gift on special holidays, meaning that he remembers to do it every year. It's a task, something that he has to do every year. He doesn't forget. The second one, he remembers sending gifts last year. So an action in the past, yes, he does remember doing it. So we have here, remember having done something in the past. Now note what is the difference between them. He remembers to do it, and something that he remembers doing it. He did it and it's done. We have the second one. She sometimes forgets to call. So let's say, for example, your sister, when she goes out with her friends, or your brother when he goes out with his friends. Now, she sometimes forgets to call. She sometimes forgets calling. Now, the first one, forgets to call, it gives you the meaning not remember to do a task. She didn't do it, she forgot to call. The second one, she forget calling. Okay, I'm going to ask her, did you call your parents? Did you call your mother? And she just can't remember it. Did she do it or not? So here, not remember having done something in the past. So I can't remember, did I do it or not? This is the difference between them. The first one, I forgot, I didn't do it. And the second one, I forgot if I did it or not. We stopped to watch the sunset. We stopped watching the sunset. So let's say that we have something that we are busy working, we are going someplace, and then we stopped everything that we are doing. Why? Because we want to see the sunset. So we stopped to watch the sunset, means to stop doing something in order to do something else. And then the second sentence, we stopped watching the sunset. We're done, we saw the sunset, we're going to move on and do something else. So here we have the meaning stop doing something. The first one, I stopped doing something to do something else. And the second one, just period, I stopped doing something. I regret to tell you that I have a secret. I regret to tell you. And the second one, I regret telling you my secret. So the first one, I regret to tell you that I have a secret, to wish it were not necessary to do something. So, okay, I'm going to do it, but I wish that I don't have to do it. The second one we have here, I wish it were possible to undo something. So I did it, I'm not very happy with it, and I wish that I didn't do it. I regret telling you my secret. The last one. I tried to reach them, but they didn't answer the phone. So let's say that my brothers, they are traveling or something, or they are let's say they went camping, and they do not, there is no connection between us. So I tried to reach them, but they didn't answer the phone. So trying here in general, and we have here, I tried reaching them by email. We have the first one, make an attempt to do something. So I just tried to reach them. The second one is one of the choices. I tried, or try a specific method to reach a goal. One of the things that I did, I tried to call them, I tried by email. So we have here, there are many ways, and this is one specific way from the different methods. So now we pass by the 5 verbs that we have here. And you saw that we added the gerund and the infinitive to the all 5. And you also noticed that there is a difference in meaning depending on what the sentence is. So this is the basic thing. We have here the exercise that you have in the book, page number 84. Now circle the correct form in each sentence. Now I'm going to do just 3, and you have here as an assignment the 3, later 3. So the first one, did you remember to shut or shutting the window before it started raining? So it's raining now. Did you do it or not before? We can say here, do you remember, or did you remember to shut? The second one, he stopped to play or playing football after he hurt his knee. So he had an accident, he hurt his knee, and that's why he stopped playing football. If you haven't been able to get an answer from the boss on the phone, maybe you should try to sending him an email. So you have different methods. You are going to choose one, which means that I'm going to choose here the word sending. And the rest is for you to do as homework. Now here on page number 85, we have answered the questions about yourself. So these are personal questions, and you can see that you can find the 5 verbs that we discussed, and you are going to answer personal answers about them using either the infinitive or the gerund. Now going back to the discussion lesson yesterday, 2 of the sentences that we passed by are, we have here, you are more likely to be told a lie by a man for a different reason. And you can see the second one, they dislike being asked to do such tasks and are less likely to complete or successfully complete them. So just go back and read the first one. You are more likely to be told a lie by a man for a different reason. So you can see that who is the object in the sentence? You are the object. We have here, you are more likely to be told a lie. So we have here the object, you, and then we have to be told, which is the structure here. Who is the subject? Who told you the lie? You don't know. The second one, they dislike being asked to do such tasks and are less likely to successfully complete them. So who are being told? They is going to be the object. We have here being and asked. Who asked them to do the task? We don't know. So both of these sentences are actually passive. We do not know about the subject. I am talking about the object. And if you can notice that I have something similar with what we discussed. We discussed the infinitive and the gerund. So you can see that also we have here the 2, which performs or presents the infinitive. And we have here the ing, which presents the gerund. So I have the same structures. I am using the same thing. We have here the gerund and the infinitive, but this time I changed into using the passive voice instead of the active. There's another example here. Yes, now we have here passive forms of infinitives and gerunds. The passive form of an infinitive is to plus be plus the past participle. So I have to as it is, but I'm going to add with it be and the past participle. For example, everybody wants to be respected by someone. The second one, which is the gerund form, the passive form of a gerund is being with an ing. So I have here be is a very important part, either to add to with it for the infinitive, or you're going to add ing to be to become being plus the past participle. So we have here being asked to settle an argument can be awkward. Now on page number 85 also there is an exercise. You have here the exercise. Now rewrite each sentence as a passive sentence. Let's just start here quickly. We have number 1. You need to take out the trash. So you can see that we have here to and take out the trash. So I'm going to turn it into passive. First of all, what is the object? You need to take out the trash. The object is the trash. And I want to turn it into passive based on the infinitive because I have here what? To. So we have the answer is going to be the trash needs to be taken out. So we turned it into passive by adding to and be and turning take into the past participle. The second one, he expects the manager to promote him soon. We have here, who is the object? We are talking about the person who wants to be promoted. So the answer is going to be, he expects to be promoted soon. It's the same thing. We have here to, the infinitive, and we added be, and we have here promoted is turned into the past participle. Number 3, we have here, I remember my father reading to me when I was a child. You can see that we have here remember and reading, the gerund with the ing form, and who is being read to me. So I'm turning it into I remember being read to as a child. So we have here being why because we turned the form of the gerund. You have here, these are 3 sentences and you have 3 for you to do as your homework. Now, if you notice that we used be here in the sentence, which means that we are using the helping verb. Now, it is known that the helping verb is always with the main verb. They help each other. And here the helping verb is what we can call also the auxiliary verbs, which we are used to. And you can see that these are all examples of auxiliary verbs that can be used in sentences. Now, the last part in our sentence is knowing how to use the auxiliary verb to shorten the sentence. Now, let's see the examples. We have here auxiliary verbs after but and. When an addition is made to a statement with but or and, because actually I'm connecting my ideas. Often, the main verb is not repeated. Instead, it is replaced with an auxiliary verb. So we have here but plus the subject and the auxiliary. For example, my sister isn't good at remembering special occasions, but my mother is. So I ended the sentence with an auxiliary verb, which is, instead of saying, but my mother is good at remembering special occasions. So shortening the sentence is our goal, and just to end it with an auxiliary. The same thing we have here. John doesn't get frustrated easily, but Sam does. So instead of saying, but Sam does get frustrated easily, we just shortened using the auxiliary. This is by using, we have here, but, and can be used the same way. We can have here and, plus the subject, the auxiliary, and to for positive sentences, or either for negative sentences. He enjoys outdoor activities, and his son does too. So it's the same thing, but we added to with it. The second one, we don't like going for walks in this heat, and he doesn't either. We have here and we put either because we have here the negative form. So this is the basic idea for adding auxiliaries at the end. You have two exercises also on page number 85. You have the first one to complete each sentence with names of classmates and the appropriate auxiliary verb. So this is something that you can do and answer personal answers for it. And also we have here, read about Abdullah and Faris, then describe the similarities and differences between Abdullah and Faris using auxiliary verbs after, but, or, and. So also you can come up with the sentences that you would like. They can give open sentences. There is no one model answer. So we have here, these are the two exercises. You have a lot to do as tasks. We have here the grammar basically is simple to deal with. Just put in mind that we talked about, we have here the infinitives and gerunds. And the same forms here, I turned them into the passive form. We have here the passive forms for both infinitives and gerunds. And we discussed adding auxiliary verbs at the end of the sentence to shorten the sentence and to give a more connected sentence. So this is what we have here. You have your exercises in the book for the grammar. Complete the tasks and enjoy them. We will complete tomorrow.